Hey there, cosmic nerds. So this video today comes to you in two parts. Part one. So yesterday, Emily and I got up at a ridiculously early hour, aka 2 in the morning, to go see the sunrise at Haleakala, which is a volcano crater here on Maui. We were told that the drive would take us about 3 hours, but it actually wound up taking us only about 2, which means that we got there at 4:15 in the morning. Now, thing one about being on top of the crater at 4:15 in the morning is that it was freezing cold. It was below 40 degrees. Thing two is that we just magically happened to go on a day where there was a meteor shower. We were so glad that we got up there early. Granted, we were also huddling for warmth, but you win some, you lose some. But anyway, long story short, the sunrise was unbelievably gorgeous. And I took some footage up there, so roll the clip. Hey there, it's 5:30 in the morning. We are waiting for the sunrise, and I've got some footage of it, but nothing can compare to what it actually looks like.
So here's the footage that I took. Emily actually videoed the entire sunrise, so I'll put the link to that in the description when she puts that video up.
Part 2 of this video, topic. Now Emily gave me the choice between Mac versus PC or Shakespeare. Now, the whole Mac versus PC debate, while I think it is interesting and whether or not it's relevant is certainly an important question, I really don't have that much information on it. Plus, so I'm going with Shakespeare. So before I start talking about Shakespeare, there's one thing you need to know about me, and this is that I'm awful at symbolism. I am used to making videos where I can watch myself and it looks like I'm looking at the lens, and that's not the case with this camera. And I forgot until just now. Now, don't get me wrong, I really appreciate a good symbol or metaphor, but I'm a very literal person when I read, and I read what's actually there, and I have trouble interpreting it the way that the author meant it to be interpreted. Now, I know there's the whole argument where it's not about what the author meant, but how you take it, but I really mean that I only understand what it says. And that's kind of problematic when it comes to Shakespeare. As I'm sure most of you know, Shakespeare's work is full of symbols and metaphors and complex language and things that are meant to be taken in multiple ways. If any of you have ever seen The Prince and Me, it's a perfect example of it. There's this one scene where the prince tries to explain to the chick the different meanings of a certain symbol, and it's all about the sun and clouds. And when he's explaining it to her, he says stuff like, now the sun, that can mean light, or it can mean reason, or it can mean happiness, or it can mean love. And I'm just like, how do you know? So, consequently, I have difficulties with Shakespeare. This is why many of you who know me IRL know that I frequently say that I hate Shakespeare. Now, this doesn't actually mean that I hate Shakespeare. It means that I hate reading Shakespeare for class. Because then we have intellectual discussions or questions on tests that I just don't know what I'm talking about. And it's frustrating. And I think I might take my frustrations out on poor William a little bit. That being said, I do recognize that William Shakespeare is an amazing playwright. I find it a lot easier to understand Shakespeare's plays when I'm watching them as opposed to reading them. And I think this is the case for most people because Shakespeare's plays were meant to be just that, plays. They're meant to be watched so you get the body language and the stage directions, not just the words on the page. So I actually do quite enjoy watching Shakespeare's plays. Once again, I'm going to add in a, that being said, I hate Romeo and Juliet. And this is not a, I don't understand it, or it's difficult for me to relate to it. I just hate Romeo and Juliet. Now, some people hate Romeo and Juliet because they think it's too overdone, and granted it is. And even back then, it wasn't exactly an original storyline, but that's not it for me either. I hate Romeo and Juliet because I can't stand the characters. Now, I know that one of Shakespeare's main things is making sure that every character, I can't speak today. Every one of his characters has at least one major flaw, and that makes them more realistic. And I wholeheartedly support that. But there is nothing about any of the characters, with the exception of the nurse, in Romeo and Juliet that I even vaguely appreciate. I think Romeo and Juliet are unbelievably idiotic. They've known each other for a week by the end of the play. They kill each other over their love. Even if you do believe in the whole love at first sight aspect, which I don't, she was 13? And I know, they get married younger then, but still, you have no idea what love is. And just either watching it, or reading it, or even performing it, I just hate it. I want to slap the characters upside their heads. So that is my Shakespeare rant. But I have seen a great deal of Shakespeare plays, and when they're done well, they're fantastic. So don't get me wrong, I am not anti-Shakespeare. I am pro-Shakespeare. I'm just find him difficult sometimes. Oh, William. So, that is your vlog today. I think this is going to be really long, but I can't tell. It took me like half an hour to film this because I can't pronounce things today. Emily, your 2 options for next week. 1, pick any country in the world. Don't care. Any country. Do a little bit of preliminary research and tell us a little bit about their government. Now, I don't mean like the political situation or who's in power. I just mean like, you know, vague description of parliament or of the checks and balances system or of monarchy or, you know, whatever they have going on. And, you know, if there are any interesting stories a la John Green's French Revolution video, go ahead and share. Option 2, pick any book in the world that you dislike and make an argument for it, as if you enjoyed it. And I don't mean make things up and be sarcastic about it. I mean actually try and find things that support the other side of the argument. Have fun with those. So I hope you're all having a lovely time. You will see Emily on Monday and me next Thursday. Love you all. Later.